Welcome back to the Maelstrom, ladies and gentlemen. We have another Warhammer 40k battle report for you today. It has been a while, but we are returning to the battlefields of Aranam. Fighting has spilled into the cities as we begin this leg of the campaign. The mission will be in a link below, along with a link to WorldWar40k.com, so you guys can take part in that campaign with us. The mission today, we're doing 2,000 points, Blood Angels versus Necrons. My little brother Eric is going to be bringing in his first game on the channel. For this mission, we have 6 objectives, and we're playing tactical objectives out of the Cities of Death rules that came out in the new Planetary Onslaught book. We have one there, one here, one in this run, one in this building, one in this building, and one in the building down there. And those objectives, the building itself counts as the objective, so being within 3 inches of the building gets the job done. We also have sewer entrances. One is here in the street, one is in the center, and the third one is down here. Those can be used, just a brief overview, you can read more in the description. They are randomly allocated where you come out to represent guys running around in the sewers trying to find ways into the city. But if you choose to use reserves, you can bring 1 unit per turn through those. And you can also disappear down those and come out later. But like I said, full rules for that will be in the description. Deployment zones for this. The Necrons are going to be in this table quarter, and the Blood Angels are going to be in this table quarter. No restriction on how close we can be to each other to represent the confines of city fighting. So we could be right on top of each other here in the center. Necrons did win the right to deploy first, but we're going to go down armies first. We will be right back with those. Alright, first up we have the Blood Angels. They are running a combined arms detachment. Their warlord is a sanguinary priest, and his warlord trait is off the command table, allows everyone within 12 inches to use his leadership. He's running around with 10 stern guard with no upgrades. Then he also has 2 tactical squads here, 6 men with a plasma in a Las-Plaz Razorback, and 5 men with a plasma in a Las-Plaz Razorback. And then for fast attack we have 7 box with a sergeant with a power maul and 2 grav guns. And then a lone Vindicator with overcharged engines and a siege shield. And then to round it out, we've got a Lucifer armored task force, 3 individual Bell Predators with assault cannons on top, heavy bolters on the side, 2 Las Cannon Predators, triple Las, and then a Land Raider Crusader to finish it out. And then of course the obligatory Tech Marine that leads it. So that is the Blood Angels, 2,000 points. Next up, we have the Necrons coming out of retirement for a game. We are running a Decurion as usual. To start things off, we have the Reclamation Legion. We have an Overlord with a War Scythe and a Phase Shifter. He's running with 11 warriors here in the setup. Probably not during the game, but they're set up with him for now. 10 more warriors here and 10 more warriors here. Then we have 2 squads of 10 Immortals to back them up. Finally, to finish off the Reclamation Legion, we have 9 box with shield veins and nebula scopes, and a lone monolith to provide us some heavy hitting firepower. Then we also have a Canoptic Harvest, the obligatory Spider, 3 Wraiths with whip coils, and 7 bases of Scarabs. And then we also have a Judicator Battalion with a lone Triarch Stalker. He has the twin heavy Gauss cannons, and then we have 2 squads of 5 Praetorians with Rods of Covenant. So you've seen the armies, and you have seen the table. We will be right back as we get stuck into the Maelstrom. Deployment is finished. The Necrons had first deployment. Put the Canoptic Harvest over here along with the box and 1 squad of Praetorians. The Immortals, or the Warriors, then created an assault screen in the street with the monolith behind them. The Overlord with the first squad of Immortals here, and the second squad of Immortals back here as a floating reserve, along with a squad of Praetorians. They are joined by the Stalker and the final squad of Warriors who are camping this objective for the time being. Then in the Blood Angels front, we've got just a massed armor deployment. Box over here along with the Vindicator and the Land Raider, and then the Predators are bulked up over on this flank with the Razorbacks in the backfield. So the Necrons are going first unless the Blood Angels are able to seize the initiative. And with a 2, they will not. So we're going to do some Blood Angel scout moves for the Lucifer task force, and then the Necrons will take for turn 1. Scout moves are complete. 1 Bell Predator moved to this flank in an attempt to get around on the side of the Necrons. The rest of the Predators kind of faded back to avoid all the Gauss on the first turn. So Necron turn 1 coming up. Necron turn 1 rolls to an end. No real damage done. We gave Reclamation, or the Canoptic Harvest reanimation protocols. Made a new swarm of Scarabs and moved everybody up here and ran. Box made a flat out, and the Praetorians ran, everybody trying to get some cover back here behind the building. Monolith moved up here, fired his shot across there, penetrated the Vindicator, but the cover saved it. The Warriors here in the front put 2 glancing hits in it, but the cover saved it as well. And the Trarch Stalker penetrated it, but 4-up cover saved it there as well. Tried hard to get rid of that blast, but couldn't do it. So we're going to take at least 1 hit from that. Praetorians also swung out there, and ran, got a good run, and moved up there along the front. These Immortals just hung out. For our 3 objectives, we rolled up kill an enemy unit in the assault phase. That obviously didn't happen yet. Secure building 5, which is this building. We are up against it, but we are not securing it because of the Bell Predator. And no witnesses. Destroy every independent character in his army. So no points scored. But the Blood Angels are coming back with their half of turn 1, and we will be back once they're finished. Blood Angels turn 1 rolls to an end. They saw my shenanigans and matched it. Did absolutely nothing. Bell Predator swung down here, fired into the box to no effect. Bell Predator here fired and put 1 wound into the spider. The las cannons in the back also fired at her. 1 hit and wounded, the other missed, and the wound was bounced with reanimation. The Land Raiders swung around here, fired and put a ton of wounds on these guys. Put like 5 or 6 wounds on them, and nobody went down. And finally, the Vindicator fired right on my Lord, scored a hit, scored 4 wounds, and I lost 1 Immortal. So they matched my cruddy turn. But the army's getting too close together for any more of that. We're going to definitely see some bloodshed in the coming turn. That is the end of 1. His objectives were to hold the 2 tallest buildings on the table, which is this one, and then he can choose at the time he's scoring whether it is this one or this one. So obviously he didn't get that one. He has to knock me out of every building, which he discarded that objective. And then he has to control this objective for his other point. So that is the end of turn 1. The score is still 0-0. We will be back after Necron turn 2. Necron turn 2 rolls to an end. Everything moved up. We used the Monolith to shoot this squad of Immortals up closer into the fight before scooting down here. Monolith fired on the bike squad back here. Was able to kill 2 of them with its Gauss particle whip. But the other 5 stayed in the fight. The Necrons then did an advance around the end here. Spider made another Scarab base. They moved over here in the assault phase. Were able to destroy this Bell Predator. The box shot up here and knocked out the las Predator here on the end. And then the Immortals were able to, the ones here through the gap, only had 2 that could rapid fire. But they were able to put 3 glancing hits in this Bell Predator and knock it out. Did not expect to get rid of it that easily. Praetorians jumped over the building, fired here, did no damage, and missed their assault. The Wraiths, however, made their charge. They needed a 10 to get in contact with the Sponson, rolled their 10. The Warriors down here had knocked this down to 1 hull point. The Wraiths were able to rend it and finish destroying it. To finish the turn out for the Necrons, the Praetorians made a charge here in the building and wrecked out the Vindicator there. So the guys fell out of the Land Raider, but they are intact. The Necron turn is over. A lot of armor burning, but a lot of Blood Angel presence remaining. So we're going to let them take their turn and see what's up as turn 2 comes to an end. The point that we missed at the end of Necron turn 2 was objectives. Their objectives were to secure objective 5, which they did by destroying this Bell Predator. Secure objective 2, it is still contested by the Stern Guard and their leaders. And destroy an enemy unit in the assault phase, which we did with the Vindicator, the Land Raider, and this Bell Predator. It was worth D3 points if one of those units was completely in ruins. So we got D3 for the Vindicator, but we did roll a 1. So we only scored 1 point there. However, we did score first blood as well. So it is 3-0 in favor of the Necrons going into the bottom of 2. Blood Angels turn 2 will start things off with their objectives. They had capture the high ground still and capture the castle down here. They also rolled up no witnesses, so to get that they'll have to kill my Overlord. At the end of their turn, they did not score any points this turn. They discarded capture the castle this turn. For their shooting phase, the 2 Marine squads in the back got out of their Razorbacks. They came over here and fired on the Praetorians, killed 1 guy with all the fire except the last plasma gunner, and he punched 2 guys out through the ruins cover there, killing them down to 2 guys. The Stern Guard spread out, and between shooting and assault, they charged in here. They killed all but 4 of the Warriors. Lost 1 Stern Guard in return. The 4 Warriors then broke and ran and amazingly escaped from combat and are falling back here now. But all their buddies are dead. The rest of the Stern Guard consolidated behind the building there. The box and both Predators turned in here, fired on the Tomb Blades, did two casualties to them, Charged into combat, did nothing, and the Tomb Blades killed a bike in return. But they did pass their morale and stick me in melee there, so their tanks are at least not being shot up by the bikes this turn. So that was it for turn 2. Right now it is still 3-0 in favor of the Necrons. We will be back as Necron turn 3 comes to an end. Necron turn 3 rolls to an end. These immortals scooted up again, fired through the gap onto this Bell Predator, did 1 damage point to it. The Wraith charged in and destroyed it in the aftermath. These buddies took 1 more Scarab Swarm from their mama before taking off. She is back here. She was waiting to support an assault down here. They charged up with 50 attacks, did 2 damage points, so this Predator is going to stick around a little longer. However, we had the reverse happen here. These 5 guys moved up. The Stalker gave them reroll to hit, to wound, and armor pin against this Razorback. And they scored 4 6s and destroyed this Razorback. Didn't even have to charge. Then down here, these bikes, the melee continued. They killed 1 Tomb Blade. I did nothing in return, rolled a 10 for my leadership. Ran and was promptly cut down. So Mama's probably going to fill a grav gun here in just a second. However, over here, shooting from the Immortals and the Warriors killed 4 of the Stern Guard, and the rest of them fell back through the run here. They did not take any damage, though. The 2 Praetorians killed 1 Marine with their shooting, and then charged in and killed 2 more in melee, but the Marines stuck with me. So that is the end of the turn. My objectives that turn were to seize seize Building 2, which I did when his Stern Guard fell back. Seize Building 4, which I did, and then I also have to hold Building 4 for 2 turns, and if I do that, I get to score 2 points. So if I'm still holding it with the Stalker at the end of next turn, I will score 2 points there. So at that point, it is 5-0 in favor of the Necrons. We will be back after the Blood Angels respond. Blood Angels turn 3 rolls to an end. They rolled Garrison Building 2, so they'd have to hold it for 2 turns. They decided to discard that at the end of the turn. Still weren't able to score any objectives. Back there, the Stern Guard regrouped, fired here, caused 6 wounds to the Warriors with poison rounds and killed no one. And then the Tech Marines Bolter killed 1 guy. Apparently his knowledge of machines extends to Necrons as well. He was the only one who managed to bring anybody down there. Down here he fired the surviving Laz Predator, the squad, and the Razorback all into the Praetorian squad. Did nothing other than the Plasma Gunner, who has now increased his kill tally to 3 Praetorians. Down here, the Grav Guns did what Grav Guns do and destroyed the Mother Spider and put her out of her misery. So that is the end of Blood Angels 3. It is still 5-0 in favor of the Necrons. We will be back as Necron turn 4 comes to an end. Necron turn 4 rolls to an end. For objectives this time around, we rolled up maintain the perimeter, which is keep him 12 inches away from the center. We scored that one this turn. The second one we rolled up was scour the skies. He has no flyers or flying monstrous creatures, so we went ahead and discarded that one at the end of the turn. We also scored the garrison one over here, so that will give us 7 on objectives, makes it 8-0 in favor of the Necrons. The Immortals used the Monolith to get a little bit more distance here before the Monolith moved. Then it moved down, fired its Particle Whip, and killed 1 of the bikes, and the Immortals killed 2 more, but the Sergeant did hold his ground. Down here, we made a couple more assaults. The Bugs finished what they failed last turn and killed this Predator, and the Wraiths destroyed this last Razorback. The Praetorians took the Stalker's rerolls against this Marine squad, killed 4 of them, and then charged. The Plasma Gunner then tallied his 4th Praetorian kill and killed 1 on Overwatch before we charged in and cut him to pieces. This last Marine also finally died here, and we consolidated back behind the wall. And then down here, the rest of the force moved up and fired their weapons on the Stern Guard and were able to kill 3 more of them. They passed their morale check, though, so we are going into the bottom of 4. Right now, it is Necrons 8, Blood Angels 0. We will be back after they respond. Blood Angels turn 4 rolls to an end. Their objective that they generated this turn was seize objective 4. So still no luck there. They moved their Stern Guard out, fired on the Warriors with plans to charge them, killed 3, and the Warriors rolled an 11, chickened out, and ran away. He tried to charge me as I was falling back, but he did not have the distance quite to make it there. His only other move was to move his bike out. He then tried to assault the Immortals, and he was killed on Overwatch. So that is the end of Blood Angels at turn 4. We are going into turn 5 now. Necron turn 5 rolls to an end amidst the blazing wrecks. We roll garrison objective 6 and hold the objective closest to his board edge, so we scored both of those. The other one was garrison objective 3, but we don't have 2 turns to do it. So everybody here was encroaching on the Lord. We regrouped these warriors and they consolidated. Everybody moved in and shot. The shooting killed the Tech Marine and the last 2 Stern Guard. The Overlord then charged in and challenged the Sanguinary Priest, who was slain in the challenge. So at that point, the Blood Angels are tabled. That is the end of turn 5. It is 11-0 in favor of the Necrons. Despite doing some significant casualties, just couldn't get any tactical objectives that he could score. We will have after-action reviews and army lists at the blog as always. Give us a like on Facebook. That's the best way to see our new content as it comes out. We will have a link in the description below. And a subscription on YouTube is much appreciated, guys. We thank each and every one of you who's doing that. Keep an eye out for new videos. We will have plenty more in the battle for Aranom. And as always, thank you for spending time with us today at the Maelstrom.